I'm Rich Arzaga. Welcome to East Bay Real Estate. We have a very exciting show today. At the end of the show, we'll be talking with David Van Note from Placer Title Company about legal issues for real estate. However, to start out, we have back with us Ellen Dalton. Ellen, as you saw last week, was with us talking about the Consumer Financial Network and also a couple other things in terms of real estate. Ellen is one of the most prestigious real estate speakers and marketers in the nation. Ellen, welcome back to the show.
It's great to be back here, Rich. In fact, even though I'm from the East Coast, even we in the East Coast recognize this is the #1 real estate cable TV show in the United States. So it's great, and it's an honor to be back.
And I appreciate that. I really do.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about something. You have an exciting system out right now. In fact, you've had it out for the last year, and it's been very successful. When most people make investments, they talk about talking with financial planners. I think you've taken that one step further.
We have, Rich, and in fact, I'd like to have your listening audience understand that when they see some real estate agents advertising that they possess the real estate financial planning system, what that means is that that agent can provide them with a self-help planning guide, because very few people have real estate goals, and yet most people regret not owning enough real estate. People have educational goals, financial goals, nutritional goals. People should also have real estate goals, and I think it's our responsibility as real estate people to encourage the consumer to put together real estate goals on their own with our guidance, and then we can help them implement them. And that's why we created, Joe Murphy and myself, we created the real estate financial planning system.
That's great. Now really, right now, it's just kind of a ad hoc sort of thing. They're going out, making investments, hoping that it works, but you pretty much organize this into a total system for investors out there.
That's well put. In fact, for all people, not just the category of investors, although all real estate in a sense is an investment, hopefully, but we wanted to formalize and enhance the relationship between real estate agents and the consumer relative to real issues. You know, if you look at the life insurance industry over the past few years, there's been a metamorphosis because they've gone from selling life insurance to helping people plan, and then the life insurance is a byproduct of that overall planning. You would think that if there's financial planning, we don't need real estate financial planning, because financial planning should encompass real estate. It's just that, regrettably, many financial planners are not that sensitive to real estate, and in fact, sometimes financial planners even discourage people against real estate because they want to market their other commodities, or they're not involved in real estate. I'm not saying all financial planners, but it's our responsibility in real estate to recognize that every real estate decision is financial in nature. It's the greatest way to build wealth historically, and we should take it upon ourselves to encourage people, even though we're not financial planners because of this program, even though we're not real estate financial planners, we can promote a real estate financial planning system self-help guide that's a format that informs the consumer and gives them direction as to how they can plan their own real estate strategy. And it's not just investments or very sophisticated real estate. It can be as simple as how to make their home more valuable, how to go from a renter to a buyer, how to move up. In fact, in your marketplace right now, in Northern California, this is a dramatic move-up market. People can really take advantage of the fact that there has been some depreciation, and they can trade up. And yet, it's our responsibility, in my view, to provide them with a format that shows them and educates them how that double transaction would work. And so that's what we're doing. We have top agents throughout North America now that are distributing information to consumers on how to move up, how to increase the value of their home, how to do planning. We think that's a lot more important than some of the pumpkins and calendars and recipes that we've sent out in the past. And let me say this, I think those agents who send those out, they were well-intentioned and did a great job, and people appreciate what they did, and they were the most progressive agents, and that's great public relations, and that's a nice spirit of intent. But right now, Rich, homeowners in California aren't saying, gee, honey, why don't we buy another home? This pumpkin's so nice. Or, gee, we got the calendar now. Why don't we really talk tonight about our real estate future? And you know what? Joe Murphy and I, we wanted to take the real estate role and take it to a higher level. And admittedly, our idea is still a little ahead of its time. But we'd rather be ahead of our time than behind our time. And what's so impressive to us is how many top real estate sales executives throughout North America have not only embraced the concept, have not only registered for the program, but they have a consumer following of people they're helping to plan to buy more real estate and to make informed decisions and have a higher level of bonding. And in fact, I've heard it described as almost like having a lifetime listing agreement with the consumer.
Yeah, that's a good description. Now, it's very comprehensive, but it's very easy to use. How long did it take you to put this together?
It had to be comprehensive and simple to understand. It took us several weeks, and we involved an attorney, we involved the CPA, we involved real estate people like Joe Murphy and myself. But basically, the self-help guide is not advice-driven. The major advice is to encourage people to contemplate their own planning. For example, there's a section here on how they can determine net worth, and they receive this with a case study. It's interesting to note that at the bottom I put here, percentage of net worth attributable to real estate. Most people have between 80 and 90% of their net worth due to real estate. If most people had 80 to 90% of their net worth due to stocks, the stockbroker would be at their home tonight when they return home. If 80% of their net worth was because of life insurance, the life insurance agent would be camping out in the backyard in a tent.
Real imbalance there.
There really is. We have to celebrate the success. And if we're not doing it, no one else is going to do it. Because quite frankly, Rich, I'm concerned because we see newspapers discouraging people from buying real estate. We even see some financial planners and stockbrokers at times discouraging the consumer. And in real estate, we have to be the champion of the real estate commodity. And we have to, in fact, start to legally churn our accounts and get more people to take advantage of the wonders of real estate because it helps everybody. It's the backbone of our economy.
There you go. Now, it's funny, there's a parallel here. People who do this instinctively, agents who help their clients out with this sort of program without knowing that it exists, or those that are using it, are the most successful agents out there, and their clients seem to be the most productive in terms of using real estate as an investment tool.
Absolutely, Richard. And moreover, we don't recommend our real estate agent membership to sit down with people necessarily and review this. This is a self-help guide that they distribute because, quite frankly, we want the agents instead to be helping people buy a home immediately, to help them, if they're a for sale by owner, see the wisdom of an overall marketing process as opposed to just selling a home, to network and market with expired listings, with out-of-town customers, and for the people who call them in to discuss it. But since an agent can't be everywhere at one time, why not manifest the most important image into the marketplace? Because this, I think, better represents the true level of professionalism that exists in our industry, because we've got the hardest working, most dedicated people I know in any business. I think this is a better reflection of their sincere concern for the well-being of the consumer, because a lot of the other items that we send out really do not demonstrate to the consumer that we're concerned about their entire life as it relates to real estate and their families. And so this is a nice planning guide. It's a catalyst, and it's the backbone of our overall system, but there's other components as our members around the country have come to know and appreciate.
That's just terrific. Now, we're going to be back to talk more about this, so we'll be back after this message. Stay tuned. Welcome back to East Bay Real Estate. I have with me Allan Dalton, a real estate guru nationwide, and we're happy to have flown him in to be on our show today. Allan, you're really into consumer networks in terms of programs.
Absolutely. In fact, every industry understands that the primary focus has to be on the consumer. We work for the consumer. And if we're going to work for the consumer, we need to have some standardized programs that thousands of agents can deliver to meet the unmet needs in the marketplace. That's why we have the renter-to-buyer assistance program, because renters need financial assistance. As I mentioned on the earlier show, the sellers can provide it, but there has to be a program, a package to educate and to raise the consciousness of the renters that there is a financial program just for renters that we're introducing around the country.
Now, that's a good point. Why hasn't that been brought up before? Why hasn't it been marketed like that before?
I think, quite frankly, Rich, sometimes we can be guilty in real estate of not asserting ourselves enough to get people to buy more real estate. You see, since everybody already believes in real estate, our industry has not at times developed the muscles because we didn't need to offset their resistance. See, no one wanted to talk about life insurance, so a life insurance agent had to develop a greater aggressiveness at time to break through that resistance. But since people generally believe in real estate, we think it's basically, we'll wait until people are ready. So if you ask most homeowners, did a real estate agent cause you to buy your first home? We're not always the cause. We're there when they're ready, but we've got the greatest product in the world. We shouldn't wait till people are ready. We should get them ready to buy more. And so I think that's why there hasn't been programs like this, because we wait for first-time buyers to buy. But most of the first-time buyers have already bought. That's a misnomer. We need to get renters and turn them into first-time buyers. And the reason we'll turn them into first-time buyers, I want to turn real estate offices into like emergency waiting rooms with renters coming in to see what type of financial assistance through this program is available. And that's why we're packaging it, to take a more aggressive but professionally aggressive role to go right to renters and say, you know what, you can't use that as an excuse anymore, you don't have the down payment. We can help you with that. You can't use the fact that you have 6 months left on your lease because we have assistance through sellers that will buy you out of that lease. We have low interest rates. We have, but see, it's helpful for an agent to have a package to call a renter and say, have you heard about the renter to buyer assistance program? Or what type of financial assistance would you need? Otherwise, all we're saying is that you should buy a home. When are you going to buy a home? Give me a call. We have to take it to the next level, especially now in this country. And we've done the same thing with the real estate financial planning system. And I think one of the reasons why it's so embraced around North America by top agents is because they recognized that homeowners are receiving 6.9 pumpkins, 3.8 refrigerator magnets, 2.5 calendars, and they're developing antibodies to a lot of things that we were sending out. And they're craving something of higher importance. And the higher importance that they're craving is a relationship based on informational issues tied to real estate. But there has to be a system, there has to be a program. And then you mentioned the Real Estate Consumer Network. Again, we'll have divisions all over the United States because for years we've marketed listings through the MLS, but that primarily goes to agents. You see, Rich, our industry right now, we send out more information to other real estate agents than we do directly to the consumer.
You're right.
See, stockbrokers contact the consumer directly with their product. Life insurance agents go directly to the consumer with their commodity. We in real estate, we circumvent that because we go first and almost only to agents, and then we assume that information to get to the consumer, but it only goes to the consumers who are in the market. We have to take it to the consumers who are not in the market and get them into the market. That requires a system, and that's why we'll be having companies all over the United States that will enroll as chapters in the National Real Estate Consumer Network. And while everybody just puts their properties on the MLS, when I say, they'll do a lot of other things, but in terms of a network, and even national referral networks, that information just goes to other agents around the country. It doesn't go to the consumer. We are developing a consumer MLS, and again, in the 1992 marketplace, we have to get renters to buy, because as Joe Murphy says, that unclogs the pipeline, that the rising tide, as everybody says, raises all ships. We've got to help them with financial assistance. We've got to get other homeowners to move up through a move-up system. We have to get people, obviously, to price realistically, and we have to, when we market properties, use the property information as the catalyst to get more people into the market, because that's the best way to both represent our sellers, and also it's the best way to get more people enjoying the benefits of real estate. And by the way, enjoying the benefits of real estate, we've been too focused the last decade on money, 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 and finance to a degree. And that doesn't conflict the real estate financial planning system. It's just that we have to also get back to the fact that the qualitative benefits of real estate. People, it's the cornerstone of their life. There's great lifestyles out there that are waiting, but everybody is looking for the best transaction. A friend of mine, Jay Schweppe in New Jersey, says it's best. Everybody's looking for a deal. We have to get people understanding that real estate can provide them with such a wonderful lifestyle, and the rates are low, and the property's been discounted, and we have to take that message stronger to the public. And these are my consumer messages.
That's
and I
great.
feel very strongly about
That's
them,
great.
Rich, as you
Now,
can see.
Yeah, I can see that. And where do you see the market going over the next couple of years? And how does this fit into that?
Okay, well, over the next couple of years, when I say, where do we see the market going, I want our attitude in real estate to be, where are we going to take the market, as opposed to what's going to happen to the market. See, unfortunately, when most people write newspaper columns and they try to project and speculate as to what is going to happen in the marketplace, they never seem to include the real estate industry as having a vital role in changing it and shifting it. And that's what these programs are about. We in the industry, we have over 1 million agents, and we have the greatest commodity, and we have low interest rates. We have to mobilize the entire real estate community to take the programs out to the marketplace and bring people back into the marketplace. And that's exactly what, so in terms of what will happen in the marketplace? I want the consumers to be concerned about their market, not the market, their market. Because maybe the market isn't good for everybody, but maybe it's good if they're going to buy, if they're a renter, or they're going to move up. The agent, I want them to think, I don't care about the entire market. My market's going to be healthy because I'm going to help people take advantage of real estate opportunities. And that's the view that we have to take. Too many people think about the market, the world. If everybody takes care of their world and their market, the rest takes care of itself. But we have to have programs and systems to do that, Rich.
That's great. What suggestion would you give to buyers at this point?
The suggestion that I would give to buyers is this. Don't hesitate. Don't keep waiting for something to become even better. Because some people say, well, I want to wait till rates come down. Well, when rates come down, generally real estate appreciates, so the only time to own is when rates are coming down. If a buyer is thinking, I want to wait until the price of a home is going to come down, try to get that home today where they think it might drop to in 6 months. Don't wait.
And history shows that as well.
Absolutely, Rich. You know that, and that's why you're the real estate expert, and I know that. History does show that. Buyers have to understand that right now the rates are the lowest, the properties are at the lowest value in many years, and there's such a selection of property. Unfortunately, we had people in a frenzy, Rich, buying properties for $400,000 that used to be worth $300,000. Now that they can buy properties for $400,000 that used to be worth 5 and 6, or properties for 2 that used to be worth 3, or 150 that used to be worth 2 1/4, they're waiting. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. They'll regret it.
Yep.
They've got to buy, and they've got to buy now.
You're right. Now, we only have 30 seconds left. We're taking you back to the airport tonight to go back to New Jersey.
Right.
Appreciate you being here. Any last comments or thoughts to the homeowners and home buyers and sellers of the East Bay?
My comments would be this, Rich. I've worked in real estate in all 50 states, and whether real estate here was worth $1,000 or $20 million, every person who lives in this area should count their blessings every day that they live in such a beautiful and diverse marketplace as the Bay Area. We always tend to look in terms of values because we're in real estate, but let's not overlook the fact that what God has done in creating this area is so great. It transcends money, it transcends values, but because it's so great, this will always be, I believe, the best place in the world to own real estate.
That's great.
And that would be my view, and that's
great.
what I would share with your listeners.
Well, thanks, Alan. Thanks for spending the time coming down here to the show. We will have you on again.
Look forward to it, Rich.
bet,
Thank
you
you.
bet.
Happy holidays.
Thanks, you too. Hold on for a sec. We'll be back with David Van Note from Plaster Title Company right after this.